For Coach, first question, back right. Dak, you don't have a dedicated six-man like a Jason Terry or Jamal Crawford. What's it been like managing that bench, not knowing where your points are going to come from or production? And what's your idea of a good bench?
Well, the Jason Terry one was a pretty good one. That would be good. But we do have guys. I mean, we expect solid play from Glenn Davis and Rasheed Wallace coming off the bench every night. We know they're coming in and they're going to have an impact. So at the big spots, I think we're pretty solid. It's more at the smalls. You know, Tony has to be our defensive and our energy beacon. That's what we call him. And that's what he needs to be. And you know, Nate has been, he's a wild card for us right now. And he was great in the Orlando game. He was great the other night. So you obviously don't know on a given night with any of those four. But you know one of them. You know, a lot of times fouls have dictated with the bigs which way we go.
Rachel, back left.
Hey, Doug, I think you said 6 minutes for KG in the first half the other night. How do you, or what else can he do to keep out of foul trouble and just get going a little more in this series?
Well, I don't know. Yes, obviously the fouls had an impact. I'm just miffed and amazed at how the other teams complaining about the fouls since we've been the team that's been in foul trouble for 2 games. Maybe they do different math there or something. I don't get that one. But we just have to keep him on the floor. 2 of his fouls were not smart fouls, Rachel. So he has to do a better job of that. But listen, this is a physical series. Gasol and Bynum, they're big, and they're going to keep attacking. And we just have to figure out a way of keeping them out of foul trouble. It's huge for us. To win that game the other night with him in foul trouble and Paul not being great offensively, we felt very fortunate. We were happy to win, but we have to be better than that.
And you're talking about your team's mental approach into Game 1. You said you could kind of tell it wasn't quite where you wanted it to be, better for Game 2. What did you do to manage it between 2 and 3?
I didn't manage it at all, really. I told him go home and get some sleep. This turnaround is a tough turnaround for everybody. So we met over at the arena this afternoon early and watched film. But I think we've learned our lesson, and both teams have. It's funny, the adjustments that both teams have talked about from Game 1 to Game 2 to Game 3 is better focus, better execution, and doing it harder and doing it tougher. I said that earlier, it's not going to be a lot of changes, but the mental change is going to be key, and it will be in this game.
Peter, right here.
Doc, we were talking about this the other day amongst ourselves, and it seemed like in the beginning of the year, November, December, Perk was somebody you could throw the ball into and not cringe. He had a nice game around the basket. Has something changed for him since then? Because he doesn't seem to have the same, presence around the basket that he had in the fall.
Well, I agree. He's gotten away from finishing quickly. I thought you guys have been around the game long enough to know guys work on something all summer. They come back in the year and they do it right out of the gates and they're successful with it, and then they get away from it, and it's tough to get it back. We work on it every day. We work on it pre-game, bounce, pass, catch, straight up. My favorite play of the game, unfortunately, was them, the other team, when they threw it past the Bynum and he caught it, never brought it back down. I mean, it was like a big man textbook move that you would show the all campers. That's what we have to get Perk doing a better job of, rolling better and catching and finishing. And right now he's a gatherer. He's gathering again. We thought we got him out of that, and he's back to it. So we work on it. But yeah, he's far more effective early in the year.
Brian in the back.
Monty Williams was saying, I guess today, that you were the first person ever who told him he would be a head coach. When that was, or what made you think that?
It was when I was coaching in Orlando, and he was playing for me. Monty's one of the few players that I played with and coached. It makes you feel like you're 1,000 years old. Now he's coaching; he's a head coach. So it's I'm just really happy for him. I will say that, but I told him he was going to coach someday because I told him I was about to cut him soon as a player. But no, he's I'm very happy for him. He'll be a very, very good coach.
Julian, right?
Someone asked Phil the same question about a college coach getting a $6 million offer. One, what are your thoughts? And then two, why is it so hard for a college coach to coach at this level?
Oh, I don't think it's hard for college coaches to coach in the NBA. I think if you look historically, they've all had bad jobs. You know, they've had bad talent on their team. And I think the first one that gets good players will be a good coach in our league. You know, usually when you take a job in the league, it's usually because the team hasn't done well, and then usually they don't have a lot of players. And that's the jobs that a lot of the college coaches have gotten. So I think it's more of that than anything else. And there are a lot of college coaches that will be very good NBA coaches.
Doc, on another one of your big men, Baby's given up a lot of hype in this series to those guys, but he was able to be successful sort of in the third quarter.
Yeah.
Have you had to talk to him about not getting frustrated and to keep, going? And
yeah, I thought he was huge in game 2. You know, I guess he's huge all the time in some ways, but he was great with his energy. You know, he's not going to be taller than anyone in this series. You know, this is a long team. And he gets underneath. Sometimes he gets too deep. He can't finish. One of the things I thought he did better the other night, he got it up quick, or he threw it back out. You know, one of Ray's threes was off of Glenn Davis' offensive rebounds, and that's something we preach. We don't exactly execute it very well, but we preach offensive rebounds is the best time to look for a three-point shooter, and that's something I hope we do more of in this series.
And he's been the one guy who's been able to get to the glass. I know you don't like to send a lot of people to the offensive glass, but is he a guy who can be
because he can bang. He has a great sense for the ball, and he's under there. We don't mind our bigs attacking the glass as long as they get back, and Baby does that. But it's just his energy. I thought his energy was one of the key reasons we won the game the other night.